Hello everyone, today's joke of the day is, where do snowmen get the weather report? Stay tuned to find out. Our learning target for today is I can write and graph linear equations from word problems. So this is very similar to just graphing linear equations from word problems, but first we want to write the equation. Okay, so let's read the first problem and highlight or underline some important information. Okay, a cell phone plan costs $15 per month. All right, so it costs $15 per month plus $3 per gigabyte of data used for the month. Okay, so plus $3 per gigabyte. Let y represent the cost per month. Okay, so y is going to be equal to the cost per month, and let x represent the number of gigabytes used. Okay, so write an equation to model the situation, make a table, and graph. All right, well, if x is going to represent the number of gigabytes used, then we know that that's going to be our variable. That's going to be the thing that is changing. So let's start out. We know it's going to be y equals something, and y stands for the cost per month. Okay, and when we go back and look at what we highlighted, we had $15 per month. Okay, well, per usually means that we are going to multiply, right? But month isn't one of our variables, right? Our variable is number of gigabytes used. So we're just going to write the 15. I'm even going to maybe make that a little bit nicer. We'll write the 15 there. And then plus $3 per gigabyte. And we know that per means multiply, and gigabytes are our variable x. So we can say plus 3x. Okay? So now if we're going to fill in this table, we want to substitute those values in for x to figure out what our output is. So we have 15 plus 3 times 0. Well, 3 times 0 is 0, so y is going to equal 15 for if x is 0. And then we would also have y equals 15 plus 3 times 1, which would be 15 plus 3, which is 18. For 2, we would have y equals 15 plus 3 times 2, so 15 plus 6, which would give us 21. We have y equals 15 plus 3 times 3, 15 plus 9 is 24. And finally, y equals 15 plus 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 15 plus 12 is 27. Okay, so now we have all those points. So we can go over here to our graph, and our our x-axis is going to be the number of gigabytes used, because we already defined that. So we'll say number of gigabytes will be our x, and we'll just go by ones. Okay. And then our y-axis is the cost per month. And that is in dollars. So I'm going to write that is our unit in dollars. And let's just go up by fives here. So I'll say this is 10, this is 20, this is 30, 40, 50. There we go. Okay, that should be plenty. Now we just want to plot all of our points. So 0, 15 will go right there. That'll be halfway between 20 and 10. 1, 18 will be a little closer to 20. 2, 21, just right above 20. 3, 24, just under 25. And 4, 27, kind of a little bit closer to 30 there. And then I've plotted all those points. I can connect them with a line. And there we go. That's my graph to show the cell phone plan cost. All right, let's look at another example here. Jonathan's business of selling hockey sticks had an initial investment of $300. Okay, so that's important. Let's highlight that. Initial investment of $300. But he makes a profit. Okay, that's important. Let's say highlight profit of $25 for each hockey stick he sells. Okay, for each. So that means that per hockey stick means we're probably going to multiply. Let y be the net revenue of Jonathan's company, and let x be the number of hockey sticks Jonathan sells. Write an equation to model the situation, make a table, and graph. So x is going to be the number of hockey sticks. Number of hockey sticks. So that's going to be our independent variable. Okay. So when we're writing this equation, we know that the revenue, y, oh, I'm going to change that. The revenue y is going to be equal to, well, if he has an initial investment of $300, that means he's paying $300. So really, he's actually going to have a negative $300 that will go against his revenue because he has to put that much money in at the beginning. But then he's going to make a profit, so that means he's going to increase the amount of money that he has by $25 for each hockey stick, and x is the number of hockey sticks, so 25 times x. Okay, so he'll need to sell a bunch of hockey sticks in order to not have to lose money overall. Okay, so now that we have that, we can fill in our table. We get y equals negative 300 plus 25 times 0. Well, that's going to be negative 300 will be our output for x equals 0. Then y equals negative 300 plus 25 times 1. Okay, that'll be negative 300 plus 25 gives us negative 275. Y equals negative 300 plus 25 times 2. That will be negative 250. Y equals negative 300 plus 25 times 3. That gives us negative 225. And finally, y equals negative 300 plus 25 times 4. 25 times 4 is 100, so that gives us negative 200. Okay, so now we need to go over here and figure out what our graph will look like. So x is going to be the number of hockey sticks, but since we have some negative values here, right, that go below the x-axis, I'm just going to write number of hockey sticks over here, and then y is going to be our total revenue. Okay, so let's go by just 50s here, and we'll say that this one's negative 100, this is negative 200, negative 300, that will be a positive 100, obviously this is 0, 200, and 300, okay? So our first point goes down here at 0, negative 300, then our second point will be at 1, 275, which will be about halfway there, and then 2, negative 250, 3, negative 225, and 4, negative 200. All right, so our graph looks kind of like that, okay? So now we just have some questions associated with this problem. Okay, we want to figure out how many hockey sticks does Jonathan need to sell to break even or to cancel out the $300 investment. Okay, so we need to figure out how many hockey sticks it's going to take us to have our total revenue be 0. Okay, to break even would mean that we would be 0. So we would say break even revenue equals 0. So the cost minus the profits minus the cost is going to be 0. So that means if our revenue is equal to 0, that would mean y is equal to 0. So remember, our equation is y equals negative 300 plus 25x. Okay, so we want y to actually be 0. So we're going to have 0 equals negative 300 plus 25x. Okay, and now we're just going to solve for x. So this is just solving a two-step equation. First thing we want to do is add 300 to both sides to get that out of there. Okay, we get 300 equals 25x. And then we want to divide by 25 on both sides. And then we get x is equal to, well, 300 divided by 25 gives me 12. So x equals 12. So we need to solve 12 hockey sticks to break even. Okay, Finally, how much would Jonathan make after selling 20 hockey sticks? Okay, so this is saying now that if we have X equals 20, how much money are we going to make? What will Y be? Okay, so let's substitute 20 in for X. Negative 300 plus 25 times 20. And now we just need to simplify. So 25 times 20 is equal to 500. So negative 300 plus 500 is going to be equal to Y. So negative 300 plus 500 gives us 200. So you'd make $200 for selling 20 hockey sticks. All right, so where do snowmen get the weather report? The Winternet. Thanks for watching and have a great day.